years ago that the West learnt of its existence. Suddenly, the waterfront is jammed with onlookers, pleasure boats crowd around, and Air Expo, just days away, is the talk of the town. But jet engines don't sit easily on salt water, and within minutes, the Beriev Albatross skips off to Whenuapai Air Base for a quick wash. Auckland's last air show was 26 years ago in the Cold War. Today, on the tarmac at Whenuapai, another Russian aircraft unloads a dismantled Harrier Jump Jet, a NATO fighter bomber freighted from an RAF base in Britain to New Zealand's Air Expo, all in the belly of a jet which flew for the Soviet Army in Afghanistan.
05 at 1500 feet.
A few hours later, the event itself takes off. In World War I, young men in open cockpits dangled grappling hooks to rip their foes out of the sky. Today's crowd sees a Grumman Agcat, a 50s top-dresser known as the Big Bumblebee. Pilot Phil Maguire has in mind a more peaceful version of the old rope and hook trick.
Auckland ground transmitting 129.6. How do you receive?
It's this high-speed aerial pickup which announces that Auckland's Air Expo 92 is, after years of effort and planning, well and truly off the ground. And it's just the beginning of 2 full days of aerial excitement. The joint, as they say, is jumping.
Be about 5 minutes before you can fix this. 4 minutes ago, thank you.
Two of the local pit specials get off the deck, blasting out smoke to show the crowd where they've just been.
With Dakota, you can turn around there and come along the apron to Stubway Foxtrot. Stubway Foxtrot, 24 bits again. Make it a tight turn, the pits will be using the taxiway as a run line. 4 bits again.
Delta November Golf, you move out of the road please, we're going to be at the deck in a minute. By the grass up mate, we're going to do a 180 where we are and go back down. Second taxiway.
Here, pit specials are doing precisely what they were designed to do. Gut-wrenching aerobatics up to 13 gravities. First flown 45 years ago, these nuggety little aerobats are commonly built at home. Then they're tossed around the sky by a rare breed of aviator with a certain knack. It's called holding on to your breakfast.
The 3 Foxtrot to holding point, runway 05.
Down the apron through Foxtrot, holding
30.
30.
November Golf. November Golf, hold on taxiway 7. The wheel runway 23 departure.
Finally, the 2 pit special pilots, Richard Hood and John Kelly, roll their tiny aerobats in for a touchdown. These planes exist purely for pleasure. Beneath them, an aircraft whose first name is instead Payload. It's one of 3 Ilyushin Il-76 heavy-load jets based in Auckland. They're chartered around the globe by a New Zealand freight company. Today, the huge hold is pregnant with parachutists. None of these 135 skydivers has ever even jumped from a jet before, yet here they are rolling down the runway, aiming to break a record for a mass leap into thin air. It's a short takeoff. The Russian jet was designed for small, rough Siberian airstrips. But it's not to be a short flight. Plagued by a low cloud ceiling, the monster Ilyushin will climb, then circle for hours. Inside, its impatient cargo and its Russian crew all itch for a patch of blue sky and a long drop. Next, for the crowd far beneath, comes a blast from their past. It's a shape and a sound familiar to most adult New Zealanders. Our first jet, the Havilland Vampire. The RNZAF flew nearly 60 of these twin-seater trainers. They're all gone now. To get a Vampire into the air once more, a New Zealand warbird syndicate salvaged this one from Australia, where it began flying for the RAAF nearly 40 years ago.
It had to be you. It had to be you. I've wandered around and finally found somebody who could make me feel like you always do. And I'm even glad just to have had a short time with you.
The new 1993 Toyota Corolla. The successor to the biggest selling car in New Zealand's history is here.
Nobody else could give me this thrill. Nobody has and nobody will. It had to be you, wonderful you. Welcome to our world.
For a 6 to 12 month term investment with ANZ, you can now get 7.5% on your money. With an interest rate like that, you can't lose. Works for me.
Fred Hollows, a great New Zealander who helped thousands see again. Fred died this year, but his legacy continues, and now you can help bring sight to millions in the third world. The Fred Hollows Foundation. Please give at any Westpac.
Hello, I'm Murray Costello, and I've got the Hyundai XL, the sporty 2+2 Scoop, the incredible Entra, and the sophisticated Sonata. See the 1993 range? Only at Murray Costello.
This is a Peter Knox lounge suite, and I'm Peter Knox. I could tell you that nobody makes a better lounge suite, but why don't you be the judge? So come and visit us at Expo Place, where the people who make the furniture sell the furniture. And don't forget, we're open 7 days.
They've got a main, and it's a ream. Yes, a main's from Ream. Ream comes a steady, hot and strong, with enough for everyone. It's all a Ream, it's all a Ream. With a properly installed Ream mains pressure system, you can't go wrong.
Monday, he's the captain of the Tall Blacks, and pulling on the black singlet is special.
Turn Clark Kent into Superman, or maybe Stu Wilson into Bernie Fraser.
Glenn Denham proves white men can jump.
Basketball itself will struggle to reach a really high profile.
He's about to hit the motorcycling big time, but Simon Crafer knows what it takes.
Yanking on the bars as hard as you can to make it change direction.
Stu Wilson's got something to stew about with Super 10. Graham Lowe's got the lowdown on the Winfield Cup and hang gliding.
It's as dangerous as you make it.
Morrow Sports Extra, Monday 7:30 on 1.
From the trenches of Europe, well, not quite, these are both modern replicas, a German Fokker triplane and a British SE-5A trundle out for a World War I dogfight. Before the Great War, aviation was nothing but fun, a modern marvel for wealthy young men. Then suddenly the flying machine became a weapon, and those same young men began dying in droves because of it. How easy is it to prang these fabric-covered toy planes? Just watch as a wind that wouldn't blow your hat off ends a dogfight before it's even begun. Pilot Peter McVinney is very lucky, only his dignity's damaged. His foe, John Lannon in the Fokker, wins by default. After doing the gentlemanly thing and checking on the welfare of his enemy, the mock Red Baron continues the dogfight all on his own. When the real Fokker first flew, parachutes had been tested but rejected. A safety canopy just wasn't seen as a sporting option, so pilots refused to wear them. As the triplane comes into land, the next display lines up to demonstrate how much has changed since then.
The Fokker triplane landing this time, commence your display.
I'll be landing on the grass at the end of it.
Roger that.
Falling out of the clouds above, it's a para-bungee jump. Two skydivers hanging from one canopy, one lets go, bounces on the end of a rubber bungee cord, then lets go again, and opens his own chute a few hundred meters above the runway. On the ground, at the ladder to the Beriev Albatross, the queues begin to form. It's fascinating. Tanks in the Beriev's boat-like hull can scoop up tons of water to drop on forest fires. It can land in a swell of 2.2 meters for sea rescues and submarine tendering as far as 2,000 kilometers offshore. Twin turbofans mounted high above the sea spray, plus booster engines slightly below that, make this a surprisingly agile, multi-purpose amphibian. For all of that, the stepped hull and the little sea rudder under the tail look a tiny bit like something built by the Minsk Dockyard Collective. But in full flight, with a wingspan two-thirds that of a 747 Jumbo, the Beriev A40 shows just why it's named the Albatros. are the Harvards of the Roaring 40s, an aerobatic team whose name reflects New Zealand's latitude and the age of both the aircraft and their pilots. The North American Harvard was New Zealand's most widely used trainer. We flew more than 200 of them. Now, 11 survive in the Warbirds fleet. This formation of 5, led by John Lamont, is one of the very few non-military aerobatic teams. If you've ever wondered why that sound is so instantly recognizable, it's because those 9-piston Pratt & Whitney radials whip the propellers around so fast that the tips break the sound barrier.
Monday, zoom into the future on Beyond 2000. Renault's new electric car that's great for city parking. Then
Be prepared for a shock.
Mexico's new seismic alert system. Brought to you by ECMZ, discovered the free-wing aeroplane.
In theory, this plane could fly without a tail altogether.
Find out what happens to the weapons of war in peacetime.
The very machines that produce these bullets are now being used to pull them apart.
And what's a replicat?
I'm home.
Beyond 2000, Monday, 8:35 on 1.
Freshest peanuts in the world and pour them in. I'm an Auckland peanut butter nutter. This part is my job for sanitarium freshness. Push these shiny knobs. I'm not a peanut butter nutter. This part I like as the peanut butter nutters. Peanut butter taste and test. We're such after peanut butter nutters. When the whistle goes for lunch, we have peanut butter sandwiches. Smell and crunch.
For a 6 to 12 month term investment with ANZ, you can now get 7.5% on your money. With an interest rate like that, you can't lose. Works for me.
Star performers. 2 sensational releases that have recently taken Husqvarna to the top of the ratings. Smooth, handsome, versatile, strong, delivering a powerful performance. Meet the stars, now showing at your nearest Husqvarna stockist.
The world is changing. One by one, people are making the change with no compromise on power to unleaded fuel. So one day soon, we can all breathe easier. And which one are they changing to?
If your face was square, shaving would be simple. But your face has curves. Introducing the revolutionary Schick FX, the only twin-blade razor that flexes to follow the curves of your face. Schick FX. We're changing the face of shaving.
Friday morning, ETV presents Learning Curves, a 6-part series examining changing approaches to learning and teaching practices in our schools, giving parents an in-depth look at the education of our children. Learning Curves, 9 o'clock Friday morning on 1.
Hi, I'm Bruce Miles with a golden opportunity for you to make huge savings on near-new Toyotas. With all the styling and features of a new car, the big difference is the price. Save thousands on Starlets, Camry wagons, Coronas and Corollas. Nearly all less than 9 months old, all with the balance of their factory, 3-year, 100,000 kilometre, bumper-to-bumper new vehicle warranty. And here at Ilam Toyota, we will give you not 1, but 2 years, free servicing and free parts. Come in and I'll get you a golden deal with Ilam Toyota.
The circling Ilyushin has been forced by low cloud to descend into view. The skydivers have decided on a single mass jump, starting a little more than a kilometre above the tarmac. Even a jumper in his 70s can't wait for that back door to open. Experienced jumpers, every one of them, but still that nervous smile. And if you've ever wondered what it's like, this is what it's like. Several small groups try to link up as they fall, but there just isn't enough air to do it in before the urge to hit that ripcord becomes a pressing need. Then, to the surprise of many, not one of them falls into the harbour. It's funny how elated skydivers can be when they arrive safely.
Beautiful. It was awesome. Yeah. Awesome jump.
Beautiful, beautiful looking all around us, yes.
This crowd's fascinated by the many World War II aircraft. These toys of war were the fuel for many a boyhood fantasy. Here you get to climb on them and to see what they looked like before the members of the Warbirds spent thousands of hours restoring them. Finally, you get to marvel at their finished state and to see them fly as if they'd never been in such a sorry condition. Then the sight that many enthusiasts are waiting for, a World War II dogfight. A Japanese Zero trundles out from Tim Wallace's Alpine fighter collection based at Wanaka. Behind him, former RAF Phantom pilot Mark Hanna in a Kittyhawk from the same stable. Mark's opponent in the Zero is his father, Ray Hanna. Years ago, the Hannas moved from New Zealand to Britain, where they now fly a similar fighter collection of their own.
Morning, there are a couple of helicopters in the zone, but we've spotted them on the ground now.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Got one inside behind the crowd, and I'll be well clear of him.
Roger that.
But the Zero, or Zeke, is not what it seems. Mark Hanna explains.
It's a collection of about 3 different aeroplanes that were put together for the film Tora 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 in the late 60s. It's not a real Zero, but the real thing's extremely rare. There's only 2 flying in the world, and this is about the closest approximation you can get. And performance-wise, it's pretty similar.
And the Kittyhawk here, how long has that been flying in civilian life?
Since April this year.
So it's actually only been flying for about 6 months, since the Second World War.
That's right. It was crashed up in the Ilyushin Islands, and Tim bought the pieces and restored it over a 4-year period. And I actually got to air test it back in April.
What's it like to fly?
It's absolutely gorgeous. In fact, I think of all the World War II airplanes I've flown, it's about my favorite.
To those old enough, this pairing is uncomfortably real. The Kittyhawk was the RNZAF's first fighter capable of defending New Zealand against Japanese attack. Our fathers and grandfathers flew 300 Kittyhawks in the Pacific. Often they met the real zero.
Okay, I'm going to the right of you. If you come hard right now. Turning hard now.
Roger. I have quite a good time up there, but on a day like today, it's not as much fun as you'd think. You've got a very strong crosswind, and you're always worrying about the landing and wrapping up Tim's $1 million airplane in front of 100,000 people. So it's work rather than pure fun on a day like today, to be honest.
Is it actually hard on your body?
This is quite hard. These airplanes would be capable of 8 or 9G originally. It is quite hard. When you're pulling into hard maneuvers, you're tending to lose consciousness, so you're having to strain very hard to stay awake. And you need to have pretty strong tummy muscles and, of course, strong neck and arm muscles to look around behind at the guy you're dogfighting with.
New Zealand lost 20 Kittyhawks in the war over the Pacific. Another 152 crashed without being shot at.
Give me a 360 left.
Today, Ray and Mark Hanna have the luxury of deciding the victor in advance. I think a lot of these people in this audience would like to be up there with you.
If they can hack 6G and 400 knots, they're welcome to come.
Tuesday on the street, Deirdre becomes suspicious.
What's up? I want the truth. What's going on?
And Raquel plays Samaritan.
Hello?
You don't have to be on your own, you know. Not tonight.
The bill follows, where a confrontation turns to assault.
He stabbed himself, did he?
And it's every man for himself.
Has he said anything?
Oh yeah, he's in with CID now, Tony.
Trouble at the station, Tuesday following Coronation Street on Television 1.
We're looking for a policy that's suitable for superannuitants.
Nothing fancy.
That's why the National Provider Plus policy offers you a choice. You can choose the one that suits your pocket.
So you see, sir, this is why retired people are switching to national insurance.
When you're retired or on a fixed income, your money has to work a lot harder. That's why you should phone us at National Insurance right now. Our National Provider Plus policy offers you a range to suit your pocket. You also get no claims discounts on your house, contents and car. Find out how we can provide you with the cover you need at a price you can afford by phoning National Insurance right now for an obligation-free quote on 0800 808 808.
National Insurance, how can we help you? Welcome to National Insurance, how can we help you?
We're at your service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So phone now on 0800 808 808, toll-free.
National Insurance, providing insurance for New Zealanders since 1873.
Rowena Jackson, our first prima ballerina. Talent and dedication combined to spin her to the top. As lead ballerina for the Sadler's Wells Company, she dazzled audiences all over the world, and then chose to come home and devote her talent to helping young New Zealanders with dreams of stardom. Like 18-year-old Aucklander Nikki Tyree, accepted into New York's prestigious Joffrey Ballet School and following her star with the same dedication.
I suppose my biggest ambition is to captivate an audience in a performance and really for them to enjoy what I do. I think I've dedicated most of my life to it. I think it's become one of the most important things in my life.
Celebrating the past, challenging the future, supported by the Electricity Corporation of New Zealand.
Get away from it all in Katie's Great Escape Range.
It happens, you know, and you ask yourself, don't they like me? Maybe it's my... Or perhaps it was the, you know, all those P words. I thought it was. Then I went on a Kiwi host course, and you know what? They go away because of bad... Yes, a BS word. And you know what else? Kiwi Host showed me I can do something about it.
Kiwi Host, free phone 0800 801 101.
Better service, better business.
The biggest surprise of this air show is that all around us, day-to-day commercial flights continue. The big jets with their suburbs of passengers on board simply share airspace with the aerobats. The show's organiser and host, Auckland International Airport, is running a full aerial display, plus the air hub of the South Pacific, that's 15,000 paying passengers a day, from the same runways. They say it's the first time anyone's done that. Today, Auckland is also a military airfield, as New Zealand's jet trainer, the Italian-built Aermacchi, shows what a sprightly jet it is.
Unfortunately, this was one of those stages, because of the delay. Certainly the Kitty was held up to the point where he really shortly damaged into the good right here.
If the Aermacchi looks like a fun little sporting jet, try this one on for size. It's the BD-5J Microjet, a homemade James Bond machine you can park in your garage.
Well, what's so good about this aircraft? It's the world's smallest, fastest jet airplane, and I own it and get to fly it and play with it every day. Really, it's just a real fun vehicle to operate, and being as small as it is, 12 foot long, with a 17-foot wingspan, and a takeoff weight of about 860 pounds, it's just a lot of fun to operate, and it's very demanding, and you've got to be very careful. But through the years, we've developed means of operating efficiently and safely. We climb, like I say, at 2,200 feet a minute. We can stay aloft at full power, which is 101% RPM, for about an hour and 10 minutes. We carry 40 gallons of fuel, and it burns regular Jet A, airline grade or military fuel, Jet B. And when we do an air show routine, we go up with about 20 gallons, minimum fuel, because we're putting extremely high loads, high G factor on the aircraft.
You need to really watch your fuel with only 20 gallons or so.
You need to watch your fuel. Everything's done by the clock. It's just, it's to equate what we do, it's like a Formula race car. And really, that's what it is. It's a Formula race car in the sky. And it really works well for a demonstration aircraft at air shows like Auckland 92.
Aermacchi MB-339, 500 feet, requesting join direct for the helicopter landing.
And beating by 415.
Go ahead.
You would like you to knock it off now and land as soon as you can.
Roger.
It's obviously a wonderful exotic toy. Why are there only 4 of them in the world?
Primarily because if you'll take a look at it, first of all, the airplane is all aluminum and they're handmade. And it takes approximately 3,500 to 4,000 man-hours. Now, if you, in US dollars, if the shop rate is $45 an hour, you can pretty much figure what just the labor is going to cost. The engines are extremely expensive. They're $120,000 each.
And
US.
the all-up cost of the plane?
And the all-up cost of the aircraft by the time you're done is around $350,000.
That's $750,000 New Zealand dollars.
That's scary, isn't it?
But then Dave Harris makes a landing which is even more scary.
Our flight was 3-1, I believe you're on state. Have you got a new TO3 source? No, we want to stick with it now. Oh, roger.
And display, we've had a nose gear failure.
As the CT4 air trainers of the Red Checkers warm up, another flying display skips in over the waves. These are low-level flyers par excellence, the darlings of the rural sector, the Fletcher FU-24 top dressers and their pilots. For decades, New Zealand's economy depended on these tough paddock huggers to keep its pastures green. We build them, we export them, and we fly them like no one else.
Monday on Homes. A tragic accident on a remote road. Would the driver have survived if emergency services got to the scene in time?
He believed in a system that let him down.
There could have been a good possibility he survived if they'd have come straight here.
Get away from it all in Katie's Great Escape Range.
This royal throne of kings, this happy breed of men, this earth of majesty, this little world.
Every day, the airline that's uniting the world, United, brings you the fastest service to London's Heathrow and the land of poets.
This blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England.
Come fly the friendly skies.
Who finances the loaders that load the logs, the trucks that take them to the mill, the machine at the mill that dresses the logs that go to make timber for houses? UDC, New Zealand's finance company.
Do you remember as a young boy how you looked to the clouds with joy when the sky seemed to thunder as the jets flew by? Where the sky is the limit, oh, I want to be in it. Do you think you got enough? Have you got the right stuff? Where the sky is the limit, oh, I want to be in it. May the force be with you. May you trust the sky. Where the sky is the limit, oh, I want to be in it. Do you think you got enough? Have you got the right stuff?
The new Gillette Sensor Sport is so good it even shaves off Sky TV fees, because you can win 6 months free subscription to Sky when you buy one. So switch to Gillette Sensor Sport and switch on Sky for free.
The best a man can get.
For the first time together on stage, the internationally acclaimed Hayley Mills and Juliet Mills in Noel Coward's outrageous comedy, Fallen Angels. Direct from a sellout London season, don't miss this, the theatrical event of the year. Sinfully frothy, Fallen Angels is Noel Coward at his very best.
Academy Award winner Hayley Mills and Juliet Mills live on stage in Fallen Angels. Opening Wellington May 4th, then throughout New Zealand. Book now. See your local paper for details.
By now the red checkers are in formation. These CT4 air trainers are also Kiwi built. 5 of them form the RNZAF's crack aerobatics team. In day-to-day use, these aircraft train military pilots for close formation combat. Today, the Air Force instructors are into ballet.
Takeoff, go. Takeoff, go. Rolling right. Rolling right. 3000.
Now the mirror formation, for which this team is famous. type of bomb burst to another, more lethal version, the A4 Skyhawks streak in for a mock attack on the airport. Iroquois flutter in from nowhere, complete with SAS assault teams. Clearing the field for a C-130 Hercules and its shock-resistant cargo. Providing cover, the Harrier Jump Jet from the RAF. Aviators are often keen on good luck charms. Small wonder, this chap's various Harrier cockpits have seen some hairy flying. The RAF Jump Jet is undoubtedly the star of the show. Its pilots, the glamour boys of Air Expo 92. Again, small wonder. Squadron leader Ashley Stevenson has ejected twice from Harriers.
I was on a typical low-level training sortie over North Yorkshire in England when I suffered a bird strike and hit about 2 or 3 birds over the general area of the aircraft, but one of them in particular came through the canopy, and parts of the canopy and the bird came through and smashed my face, ripping my oxygen mask from my face, pulling the helmet half off, knocking my visor back. It cut a big hole in my face here, knocked all my front teeth flat against the floor of my mouth. And one bird did that, but actually I think it was a piece of the canopy, a piece of the perspex that actually did most of the damage.
What then happened to the canopy and the shattered equipment?
Well, all of a sudden, if the bird comes through the canopy, you're sitting in a sort of 450 mile an hour slipstream, so it's pretty noisy in there, and there's lots of bits and pieces flying around and maps. I was actually knocked virtually unconscious at the time. I found myself dazed and with my head resting on my left knee. At the time that the accident happened, we were flying at 420 knots at 250 feet above the ground, and I've been blinded by the remains of the bird. I was unable to see, unable to react in any normal manner because I couldn't control the aircraft. So I had to elect to eject before it was too late, because the aircraft was probably plummeting earthwards at that stage.
You were very, very low. That was very lucky, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I was very lucky at the time. From the moment the bird hit the cockpit to the second the aircraft hit the ground, took about 6 seconds. I jumped out after about 3.5 to 4 seconds at a height of about 120 feet with some sort of 20 to 30 degrees angle of bank on. My chute opened approximately about 40 feet above the ground. I just got one complete swing and then hit the ground extremely hard, and I think I lay unconscious for about a minute after I hit the ground. I was so winded by the affair.
What he doesn't mention is his passenger, a woman whose parachute landed in the fireball of the Harrier they'd both just left. Ashley Stevenson woke up, ran into the flames, and rescued her once again. Today's Harrier display is flown by his colleague, Squadron Leader Ian McDonald. The Harrier looks and sounds like a colossal Rolls-Royce Pegasus jet engine with a few small attachments and a pilot on top. And that's basically what it is. The magic is in its agility.
It's all controlled by a lever in the cockpit right next to the throttle lever, and it works in quite a natural sense in that, similar to a throttle, the further forward the throttle is, the more power you're having. With the nozzle lever, the further forward it is, the further aft the nozzles are, and therefore the faster you go. So it's similar for your brain to cope with as well. And when you want to come to the hover, you need to bring the nozzle lever back, which rotates the nozzles down. The aircraft slows down. As it slows down, you require more thrust to keep you airborne, because you're becoming less wingborne, so you need to compensate with power. So there's a bit of switching between the two levers at all times, but it's something you acquire.
The Harrier ends its display with a final courteous bow to the crowd. Over 2 days, 250,000 people have visited Air Expo 92. For many of those, the Falklands Jump Jet made their day. Finally, the Royal New Zealand Air Force A4 Skyhawks rip in for a spin. 20 Skyhawks are the mainstay of our aerial defence. A simple 60s warplane updated with the latest avionics and much more agile than faster superjets. After all that exertion, a guy needs a drink. There's the tanker, and the crowd's about to witness aerial refuelling. 2 low-flying jets locked together while turning a none-too-gentle circle over the Manukau harbour.
From 1, have you completed your first orbit yet?
Through the overhead and first and into the second now.
Copy.
Six Lightning transferring. How much do you want?
1,000.
Roger. And tightening.
A few moments later, the Skyhawks are joined by the Harrier for a final farewell to the crowd below, to Air Expo 92, and to each other. It's been New Zealand's most successful air show, but there'll not be a repeat until next century, when a second runway's been built. Until then, thanks for being with us, and we hope to see you next time at Auckland Air Expo.
Smoke off, go. Harrier cleared to detach.
Harrier dropping back and clear.
Roger, thanks. Bon voyage.
See you again someday.
Yeah. Turn 3, Harrier, go.
And display.
This program was made with the help of your broadcasting fee, so you can see more of New Zealand on air. It's the final day of the DB Draft International Rugby Sevens, and we have coverage through the night live from Murrayfield, next on 1.